Hello and welcome to Points of Interest. I'm one of your hosts, Jake, along with my co-host, James, over here.
Hey, guys.
If you're new to the show, each week we collect video game news and stories from around the internet, bringing them here, all in one nice little collection for your viewing and listening pleasure. Nice. I feel like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, you just never know what's going to happen. Especially me, because I can see the script and what you want to say, but it doesn't always go in those words.
Well, I got the main points of it in there.
No,
it's
just
just it was the inflection in the way I said it. Be sure to keep your hands and feet inside the ride and enjoy your time.
I can see
it's like bordering on British newscaster.
We're really close there.
This is the fastest car in the world.
What?
You can get the show on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher for the audio versions, and YouTube and VidMe for the video versions. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at IRGame. Stay up to date with what you're doing. Do us a favor, leave a review on wherever you listen. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment, review, rate it, subscribe to it. All the things you can do wherever you listen.
Everywhere. If you are one of our devoted SoundCloud listeners, we are going to be moving away from SoundCloud to Podbean. It should be in the next couple weeks that we're doing that, as soon as things transpire. But it's on the horizon, so make plans. Make sure you will obviously announce it all over the place, but it'll be on Twitter at IRGames. You can follow us over there, and we'll tell you when we're switching over.
Yep. So,
starting off today,
leading off the show today, PlayerUnknown's BattleGrounds is the most played non-Valve Steam game.
Ooh, that's a qualifier right there.
Yeah, it's a lot of qualifiers, but when you think about all the Steam games and the games it's up against, it's quite impressive.
It is.
PlayerUnknown tweeted the news with the screenshot showing PlayerUnknown's BattleGrounds currently sitting third in Steam's overall peak players ranking. So we can see on the TV back here, it's right behind Dota 2 and CSGO. Which, if you've been in the gaming world for more than a minute, you know that Dota 2 and CSGO have been around for as long as gaming has, and they're still the most popular things ever. But you can see PlayerUnknown's peaked at almost 500,000 players.
Awesome.
It just launched. It's still technically in beta.
Yeah, it's early access
it's still
right
in
now.
Early access right now. So it's got a ways to go.
It is.
To catch up to those in front of it, but I think this is super impressive.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge news. It's weird to me, and I think it really shows the difference in the PC market versus the console market. Look at the other titles here. We got Dota 2, which is older, right? That's been a while.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason there's 354 million hours in it. You got CSGO, which came out back when I was using PS3 regularly.
Yeah.
Right? And Team Fortress 2, whoa.
Dota 2 came out July 9th, 2013.
There you go.
And I'll keep talking. I'll get you
H1Z1. Warframe is a free to play game on PS4.
Funny, King of the Kill is basically PlayerUnknown BattleGrounds.
It is,
but not as good.
Right. Well, I mean, H1Z1 is kind of like one of those games that was never that good.
Yeah.
But so it's just interesting looking at the older games. I mean, outside of PlayerUnknown BattleGrounds, Rocket League's the newest one on this list.
True.
And it's not even close.
GTA 5 is relatively new. That was still 2000.
Well, the PC launch was probably a little later. Well, there you go.
Counter-Strike came out in 2012. So you got 2013, 2012, 2017. Gary's Mod, I think, is newer.
It's newer.
It's newish.
But it's interesting because if you go look at the top 10 for PlayStation, the top 10 for Xbox, something like that, it's going to look a lot different.
Significantly different.
Speaks to the just the variety of everything.
Yeah.
So,
PlayerUnknown's
BattleGrounds.
Yeah. As much as I would love to have and play this on PC, I can't. Because right now I can't afford it. We're building one.
Yeah.
But it's going to live here.
Yeah.
And so you can play PUBG on it, but I can't. So for me,
I mean, we could work out an arrangement.
And we work out a deal. It's still going to be a pain. And if I wanted to build my own computer and all the fixings to go with it, I'm like, okay, I'm into this thing, $1,500 easily once I get a keyboard and a monitor and mouse that I want.
It's true. You don't have all the extras I do.
Don't. I do everything on my laptop and on console. So for me, I'm pretty sold on buying an Xbox One X just to play this game.
We down with that.
If we were in a different situation and we weren't building this PC,
right?
This is an Xbox seller for me, which I don't know. I imagine they would have planned on it when they signed the deal with PlayerUnknown, but
I don't know. I mean, it seems really interesting, and for me, I don't want to. I think Xbox One's always a thing that has been on the horizon. We'll get it eventually. We want to have everything. It's going to come to PS4 next year. It'll come.
Nothing's confirmed.
Nothing's confirmed. We don't have a date or anything like that. So I don't know. Like, it is more or less one game mode, right? It's 100 people on a battleground driving to a point and just killing everybody. Like, it's cool. I don't know if I would buy a console just for that. I would need to still see some more stuff from Xbox, personally.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing. Like, I will buy this solely just to play PUBG, and that'll. Then I'll turn my Xbox off and turn my PlayStation on and play all the games I want to play.
I do find it interesting.
Well, nothing's on Xbox to play.
The title is literally PlayerUnknown's BattleGrounds, and everyone calls it PUBG. It's not like everyone calls it BattleGrounds.
Yeah.
It would kind of be like Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. No one calls it TSRs, right? Because that would sound stupid.
Yeah.
So
I
why
heard people refer to it as
PlayerUnknown's?
BattleGrounds. Like, oh, we were playing BattleGrounds the other day.
But most of the time, I see
they call it PUBG.
Yeah. Just interesting. I don't know why. If you guys know why.
It has arisen and just like taken the gaming world so quickly to be this phenomenal game. It's just so much fun to watch too.
It is. It's intense. It's exciting. It's just really awesome.
Speaking of intense, they have recently put out servers that are first person only. In the game, you have the option to play in third person or in first person.
Yeah.
So now it's for those people that don't like playing third person, it's first person only. Yep. So reading this article on Eurogamer, this guy was talking about he played it, and he's just like, it's so much more intense because he got snuck up on by a naked guy, and the guy just started hitting him from the back. If he's in third person, he'd have seen him coming. He's in first person, he just starts getting hit, whips around, and I think he won. But it's just okay. It's just a significantly different way to play, and I just think that's super cool. Now, I would also like to see other things, like, all right, maybe a couple more maps or a different game mode, maybe.
I don't know. It's we haven't gotten to play it enough to know exactly what's out there and if it's worth the money. But I'm sure that, like, I mean, there's a reason it's in early access because they still have stuff they want to do. They still have goals they want to hit. But it's really impressive how much this has kind of taken everybody by surprise.
Yeah. Everyone that's played it I've ever seen is like, all right, I'm addicted to it now. I'm going to go home and play for hours and hours.
Right.
So it's pretty awesome, and I'm excited.
Exactly.
Moving on. Is Nintendo done with the traditional handheld gaming system?
It's a sad thing to talk about.
It is kind of a sad thing. So is the 2DS XL Nintendo's last dedicated handheld? The new 2DS. My bad.
Careful.
Stupid naming construct that they've come up with. Nintendo, for all the things they do right, just does so many things stupid and wrong.
It's amazing how many things they can get both right and wrong in like the same sentence.
Yeah.
It's very impressive.
So the new 2DS XL launched this last Friday.
Yes, July 28th.
Yeah. And
who cares?
I didn't hear jack diddly about it. Like, it's just the next Nintendo handheld.
Another one.
And so it was kind of weird in my mind now and I know they've probably been working on the 2DS, the new 2DS, since before the Switch came into existence.
Right.
But like, the Switch comes out once the Switch has been conceptualized, and put into production. It's like, what's the point of the DS series anymore?
Yeah, it's a fading market in general. I know that the 3DS and 2DS have had a long run. The first one came out in 2011. They've had like 135 variations of it, I think, in the last 6 years.
They have. So 2011 saw the launch of the 3DS. 2012 saw the 3DS XL. 2013, the 2DS. 2014, the new 3DS. Also the new 3DS XL. And then 2017, the new 2DS XL.
6.
So what is nice about this 2DS as compared to the old 2DS is that it does have the clamshell.
Yeah, clamshells. But which brings the question, who would ever want to buy one that didn't clamshell?
I know. I thought about it for a second because before the Switch came to be,
it's ridiculous.
and I only thought about it because the 2DS is like $100.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, I want to play. Why? And they have Virtual Console. It's like, I can play, Zelda and Mario and all the stuff that I want to play.
Like holding a piece of paper that you can't
care about the newest stuff. Yeah. I want to play the old stuff on this thing, so I thought about buying one of the Nintendos, but now I have a Switch, and I don't need a DS.
Because they have Virtual Console.
Oh.
Idiots.
Sad.
So it's cool. I mean, the console looks cool. It's great. The big thing is, like, with all their different iterations and releases and stuff, there's not really like these huge generational shifts.
No.
Right? There's no reason why should I get this over my 3DS XL? Like, oh, well, you don't use the 3DS function. Well, I just turn it off, and it's the same as this.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe a little bit different size. There's no things like, oh, I can play this game on this one or this one. Like, right now, they've got, like, 4 different of the new consoles, right? You could conceivably play anything on them. So there's no point to upgrade. I guess this is for new entries. It doesn't make sense their handheld market's kind of been a mess last few years. I know they still sell a bunch. That's
Yeah.
almost
I think it's
entirely
like the
because
best,
of
like the best-selling console,
it is,
like eclipsing
but
console on
it's
the market.
but it's
Definitely
a
best-selling.
but it's a
handhelds.
mess. It really is.
Oh yeah.
For an entry into something like this, it just doesn't make sense.
When it got really messy with the launch of the new series,
yeah,
because
because
it was like, all right, now these games, some are like compatible with
Mhm.
new and 3DS, and this one's like only on the new 3DS XL, and it's like, well, crap. It was like, here we're into again the confused parent situation. Same thing, we have the Xbox One S and the One X.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, crap. Well, I got my kid a 3DS, is what he asked for, but it's not the new one. It was the cheaper.
Stupid.
I just whatever. But looking back on more fond memories
memories.
of the Game Boy system,
Very
of the Nintendo handheld system.
Yeah.
Did you have a Game Boy?
Yeah,
growing
I
up?
had a Game Boy Pocket was my first one. I remember my Uncle John.
Pocket.
I was hanging out with my Uncle John. He wasn't my uncle, but he was a good family friend. And he came up to pick me up, and we were just hanging out. I didn't want to sit at my dad's store, I guess, that day after school. And so he took me to the PX on base. And I didn't know why we were going to the PX, but I just thought it was this magical fairyland where you didn't get charged tax on anything. Because he was in the military, and we were no longer in the military. My dad wasn't. So he went in, and he wanted to buy me a Game Boy because he wanted to. And I don't know if he asked my parents about
You
it or
don't
not.
argue with that kind of thing.
No, you definitely don't. So I really wanted to get like a regular like Game Boy, not like the old school one, right? But the slightly
not the
newer
gray.
one. And they didn't have any. They had the Game Boy Pocket, the little red one. I still have it upstairs. I actually found it a couple months ago. I got it, and he bought me. Let's see. I think he bought me Pokemon Gold with it. I played that thing no tomorrow, and then I got Pokemon Silver, and then I got like Pokemon Crystal, and I went back and got Pokemon Red and Pokemon Yellow, and I had all sorts of Pokemon games. And then I moved from the Pocket, which was so tiny, to the Game Boy Advance, like the wide
Which
purple
was a
one,
weird
right?
looking.
It was a weird device. It felt nice when you
Did you have
get
the
used to
solid
it.
purple one or the see-through purple one?
Solid purple.
I have the see-through
I
purple.
didn't have to see through. The only thing that stunk about those was there's no backlight on them.
Not at all.
And so when you were doing like black and white,
There wasn't one
the
in the
Game Boy-
Pocket either, was there?
No, but you didn't really need it because it was black and white. It's just contrast.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Game Boy Advance, it went to color,
It's full color.
and so I couldn't really see color. So you'd have to get those stupid little book lights that click into the top of
The
it.
worm light.
Yeah, worm light. I had a clamshell one.
Yeah, so did I. I had the Pelican little like clamshell. Pop
So
it open.
Yep, it was great. It worked well, but I never like the next one from that was the Game Boy Advance SP, which was the clamshell, and it was backlit.
Yeah.
So it was like
The revolution in gaming.
it was the big one. It was their big like move on from that Advance that just had a bunch of problems.
Introduced sleep mode into gaming because you could be playing and just
Mhm.
close it, put it in your pocket,
Yep.
pull it back out, start from where you were.
Perfect.
It was just
It
awesome.
was beautiful. It was well done. So I never got a chance to play
Also
the
had a
SP.
rechargeable battery.
Indeed. I got rechargeable batteries for my Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, but you could plug the SP in and keep playing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so it stinks that I mean this probably, like you said, it represents the end of an era.
Yeah.
It's just not a handheld gaming market anymore. When you can do the stuff on your phone that you can do with mobile games.
Especially with DS games.
Yeah, I mean DS games they don't sell you on graphics; they sell you on gameplay.
Yeah.
Which again is fine, but at some point they just look like crap. So like Pokemon Sun and Moon that just came out, right? Those the new ones? That sounds right.
Yeah.
I'm sure they sold a butt ton of them, right? Because it's Pokemon. It sells like hotcakes and printing money. But you go look at it, it just looks crappy. It's jagged. There's no anti-aliasing. There's just nothing attractive about it. And like, yeah, it's another Pokemon game. There's like 850 Pokemon now in this because it totally makes sense, I guess. You just add more and go to new regions.
There's only 151 Pokemon, and we all know that.
That's right, 100%. So it's sad, but it's not that sad because
it's sad because of the nostalgia of it.
Yeah.
Because I had a Game Boy Advance growing up.
Right.
I didn't have Pokemon games because my parents didn't want me to have Pokemon games.
Right. No,
It's
that's
one of those things. And so I had a Batman game that was wildly difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I had Mario Kart. I had another Mario game.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that kind of stick out. But it's just like I remember playing it on the plane, my little clamshell thing. We were going to Florida, or whatever.
Right.
Then a buddy got an SP, and it's like, well, now I kind of want that
It was
one.
a revolution.
It was amazing. But that was the only Game Boy I had, and I still have it running around somewhere.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I pulled it out, and the backlight really kills it. Like just not having a backlight, it's just
It's just crazy. And like anymore, everything has backlights, TVs.
I even looked like I was
phones, all of it.
Partial
It's
to
all
like
backlit,
restoring it, and like
technically.
what you could like the screen size is actually the same as the advanced SP, and so some people say you can actually go in, take apart an SP, or like buy a screen from an SP, and pop open your Game Boy Advance and put it in there, and it'll backlight it and everything. It'd be great. I'm like, it's tempting. Then I played the games. I'm like,
you have your Switch as well.
Yeah, I played the games. Like these games just don't. They're not as good as I remember them. Right?
No.
that's another nostalgia thing. Those games, it's like oh man, I want to play the old games.
So good.
And you plug them in, you're like, this sucks.
This really blows. Like these controls aren't intuitive at all. I bet you a lot of people had that realization with Crash just recently.
Yeah,
put them in like, man, this game kind of sucks.
Yeah, indeed.
This is not fun.
So yeah, it's just feels like an end of an era. So maybe they'll prove us wrong, but I don't know. They've just been.
If they put it out another handheld at this point with the Switch being out, like, shame on you.
It's the whole point of the Switch.
Yeah,
at that point,
it's just a better thing all around. Speaking of Switch, something we were excited for up until recently, Overcooked.
Our excitement
on
has
the Switch
been tempered a bit.
Yeah. It's cooled off just a touch. It's got some issues. Overcooked on the Switch. It's not all bad. Some of it works well. When it's docked, it runs in full 1080 as you'd expect. Closely matches like the PS4 version of it and the Xbox version. You get a slight reduction in shadow quality, which if you're paying attention for shadow quality, get over yourself.
Not the place to do it.
No. In mobile mode, it shifts to 720.
Yeah.
Like it would. And HD Rumble for like chopping vegetables they used, which says is really good.
Yeah.
That being said, that's pretty much it. Like that's all it does right, which if you're curious is not enough for a good game. On the other side of it, it doesn't run at the targeted 30 frames per second. It runs at like 23 or 24, which I know doesn't sound like a huge drop.
Awful,
but we record a lot of videos in 23, 24 frames. If you watch like movies are recorded in 24 frames a second, it's a big deal in gaming. Because if it's targeted at 30 frames a second and you've dropped to 24 frames a second, can you guess what percentage of frames you just lost? It's a
20%.
It's a just meh.
20%.
It's just
I did the math.
You don't have a lot of frames to lose, and you lost 6 of them.
It's true. It
makes it super juddery.
Yeah, it is. It's juddering. It's not quite as smooth. I mean, it's granted if you're coming from a console market and you're probably used to 30 frames, so going down to 24, not as big of a jump as say like 60 to 30.
Yeah.
So it's still playable. You know, it's not like they're having a bunch of freezes and a bunch of crashes and stuff like that. It's just not, the frame pacing's not quite right.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
It doesn't quite look right.
No, and so if you've played Overcooked before, if you've never played Overcooked, you probably wouldn't notice. Honestly, if you jumped into the Overcooked, if you jumped into Overcooked
Can we
on the
post
Switch,
that on the Facebook?
having never played it before, you would probably be just fine.
So my question is, are they seeing the frame rate drop only in mobile mode or also when it's
I don't know. That wasn't really clear in the in the article.
I mean, I know it's Digital Foundry did it, so I'm sure that if we watch the video, it would go in a little more detail.
Yeah, I was about to watch the video.
But the fact that they do 1080p in the dock, I feel better about that. 90% of the time, that's where I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're going to fix it. I'm sure they're working on it. I question why they released it if it's not very good.
There you go. See, we're hitting the nail on the head with
That's my question.
games today in general. Like why some games, when they launch with some issues, it's like, okay, we couldn't test server loads like this. Okay, we couldn't test this thing. It's different, whatever, here, this, and that, and the other thing. But this is running on the one platform, like just came out on the one platform, has been out for a long time already.
Yeah.
They're not exactly reinventing the wheel here.
No, they're not.
Like, why can't it just run at 30 frames a second? And some people, it was mentioned in the article that it's running on Unity, which has its issues, but Super Bomberman R is running on Unity and runs at 60 frames per second.
Yep.
Released at 30, was updated to 60, and Snipper Clips, which I've heard no complaints about from anyone that's ever played it, is also running on Unity.
Yeah.
So the engine is not to blame.
Right.
That it's a deeper problem than that, which is disappointing because I love Overcooked and it's so much fun to play.
And I'm sure we'll see updates. I'm sure it'll improve as it goes on. And I'm probably still going to get it for Switch. I don't think this sways me. I'm going to play it most of the time from docked mode because it'll be fun to play with my wife. So I don't have a problem getting it. It's only $20. It's still a really good deal.
Yeah.
Has everything in it, all the DLC and stuff. The article sums it up, though, really good way. To put it frankly, Overcooked on Switch isn't in a great spot, and it's hard to recommend a release that really should have had its performance issues addressed before release, not after. I feel like that's how it should be with all games, but
It's just
money rules.
Yep.
At that point, get your money now. Why?
Yep.
Why
the
wait?
world of the internet. Like we can just fix it later.
It is sad.
Which is disappointing.
It's like I said, I'll still get it. It's still a great game. Gameplay's all still there and well and wonderful. But it's just something to know that like it might be. I might wait another few weeks now because of it.
See if they put out a patch and then
I'll be keeping tabs.
I'll buy
on
it fixed.
Yeah, I will buy the fixed version, please.
And we're gonna leave that joke where it lays. Microsoft wants you to know how safe Minecraft will be on Xbox. They're making a big point on this. If you missed it several weeks ago, at this point, we did a podcast with our buddy Ravel from Nerd Out of Place. Geek Out of Place.
Geek Out of Place.
Sorry, I was close.
Cool. There's no nerds up there.
There's no nerds out in that part of the world. But we talked about this when crossplay was brought up with Sony executive Jim Ryan. He said, "Well, we can't make sure people are safe on other people's platforms," which we all know is crap. Like that's not a reason that you don't do crossplay. The reason is the way they're setting things up.
It's money.
It's money. It's all money.
It's also money. But
Sony's winning, and so they've kind of earned the right to be like, no. I heard a stat today that the PS4 is more than double where PS3 was at the same time in its life cycle, which is pretty awesome.
I remember how much it launched at. That's all it took.
Ding. For this crossplay setup, Xbox Live sign-in will be required wherever you play from, including on the Switch. So, which means if they were to do it on the PlayStation, you would need a Xbox Live sign-in on the PlayStation.
It's just,
I feel like that's like,
it smells fishy to me.
Yeah, but it's also how much of that is like a little jab of like Microsoft has Blu-ray players inside of their consoles.
Gosh, I don't know.
Which is owned by Sony, and then it's just like, well, you have to sign into Xbox from your console, and it's like, yeah, no, we don't.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I think that's a little too granular. I think they're just
it is, but I
they're
like
not
to think
doing
that
it because
way.
they're not doing it.
Yeah.
It is silly that you're going to see something like this, even if you're not on Xbox. It's stupid. I don't get it. I don't understand what does it do having an account on Xbox versus having an account on Nintendo or PC, or I guess PC is the same thing. But you know what I mean? Like
increase your player base.
Yeah, I know it's more for
that's
them.
all it is.
It doesn't
just
help your players at all.
There's nothing you can spit out like, oh, this is for safety all day long. And yeah, sure, it's easier to monitor when everyone's in your ecosystem.
Right.
So what did they say? Quote from Microsoft. By creating an Xbox Live account and gamertag, when logged in, you can set your own privacy and multiplayer preferences, create and manage accounts for your family members, and stake your claim on your name in the Microsoft universe.
Stupid.
My favorite quote they had,
here we go,
was a little later on in the article. Quote, "We take reports very seriously," end quote. No one takes reports very seriously. This is not me calling out Microsoft or me calling out whoever. This is just
calling out the internet.
Yeah. How many times have you been playing on your gaming, pick your gaming service. You've been playing and you report someone and absolutely nothing happens. And granted, you can't have immediate action for every report ever, but it's just like, okay, so somebody hopped into a lobby and was like, hey, hurling insulted person, I'm going to report that guy. Well, now if you got kids playing and parents heard it, they don't know how to report people.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing is there's no way to guarantee any of this. Like, this is just how it is. And all this is just lip service to put parents at ease and to increase their player base. That's all it is. It's stupid. It's a little shady. It's kind of asinine, personally.
I'm kind of curious what the like age demographics are per console. We can pretty much bet that Nintendo skews younger. And Microsoft and Sony, like, where do they land? Is Sony an older audience? Is Microsoft an older audience? Do either of them have younger numbers? I didn't think about this till now because I wonder, like, if just Xbox has a younger player base.
I mean, it could be.
Sony.
I think it's
not that this has anything to do with what we're talking about, but
I mean, I think it's different now. If you asked the question 3 years ago, I mean, whenever you talked about like hate online and like just angry people online, you always thought about like kids on their Xboxes, right? Xbox Live and playing Halo and things like that. Nowadays, I think it's probably split down the middle, or maybe a little more PlayStation just because of the install base. But I mean, that used to be like Xbox was synonymous with like 12-year-olds screaming at you over Call of Duty and Halo. Like, that's just what it was. That's what online play was. And so it's different now. and parents are starting to be, I think, a little more involved on the technological side of things in gaming, and starting to become more aware because they were people that were gamers when they were younger. Now their kids are playing. So I think a lot of it's just like lip service to parents. Be like, don't worry, we're going to take care of them because you're going to have an account with us.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
It's not how it works.
Dumb.
But props to you for trying, Microsoft. Anyways,
whatever.
Phil Spencer's a cool dude.
Yeah.
He said that they're working with Sony to open crossplay there, but I'm not holding my breath for anything happening there.
Exactly.
When Sony's ahead like they are and doing what they want to, if they want to, they'll come to it on their own terms, and if they don't, they won't.
Yeah.
So, which sucks. I'm not really at a loss here. I don't really play Minecraft online with other people.
No, there's nothing that's like, man, I would play Minecraft, but I can't play with my Xbox buddies.
Dang it.
Literally never said that.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any Xbox friends.
I feel like I saw something else recently about, is there a game coming out that would be worth having crossplay on? Crap, what was it? It's going to bother me now.
It is going to bother you. Sorry, you can text me later tonight with it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But to wrap up the show, as always,
drum roll.
The drop, which is us just talking about games.
Yeah, but different games that we haven't played yet.
The least structured part of the whole show.
That's right. Do you hate structure? Good news. This is going to be your favorite part.
Here it is. Man, that bothers me. What the heck game is coming out?
Here, I'll take over while you just you think about that one.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about a couple of these games last week.
Yeah, Avon Colony.
We for sure talked about.
Pretty sure we talked about.
And I know we've talked
one.
about Frisky Business.
Definitely did. Maybe some things were delayed a week.
Maybe it was. Nope, this is digital. I was gonna say maybe one's retail, one's digital. But
Draw Fighters looks interesting. The graphic, like the thumbnail right there, really drew me in. Turn-based combat. No, never mind. Turn-based combat game with funny, amazing visuals. How are visuals funny and amazing? What's the? I don't know. Fighters face each other in their struggle for victory in the great tournament of the 3 volcanoes. Right. I don't know if you've ever played this.
I have. Patapon.
Patapon.
Patapon is a remaster. Patapon came out
I have
a
not.
bit ago.
I don't know anything about
It's a
it.
rhythm game. It's kind of neat.
No,
I'll read the description. Patapon returns to PlayStation with all new enhancements, taking full advantage of PS4 and PS4 Pro. For years, the Patapon tribe has lived in the desolate frontier, driven from their home by the evil Zigaton army.
Yeah.
Finally, their wait has come to an end, and as the drums of war are heard once again. So basically what happens is like there's a beat like flashing on screen.
Right.
And you're not responding to anything. You're giving like the commands to them via drum beats. So 4-part like drum songs. So like to move, it's like square, square, circle, square. And so there's a patapon. So it gets the square, 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 circle. And so you drum out certain beats for what you want them to do. So move is a certain set of drum beats. Attack is a certain set of drum beats. Defend is a certain set of drum beats.
I'll have to watch some videos on it.
It's kind of neat.
It sounds interesting.
It's kind of neat. I have it on my Vita. Didn't play a ton, like it was fun, but at the time I just didn't have a ton of time to do
fair.
stuff.
Another one that looks interesting because we are short in the tooth here this week. Long Dark is a thoughtful exploration survival experience that challenges Slowlo players. Slowlo. Welcome, Slowlo players, to think for themselves as they explore an expansive frozen wilderness in the aftermath of a geomagnetic disaster.
Oh.
So not only are you surviving, but you also have to understand science. I don't know.
It's like a game for your wife.
Interesting. Yeah, that's... She would probably just criticize the whole thing for not being like scientifically accurate. Yeah, this would actually be a terrible thing. Exploration dash survival is a weird hyphen that I've never seen before.
That is a little bit strange.
Weird. I think you're grasping at straws there, guys.
Dino Frontier. Build and manage a frontier settlement in a world where the Wild West and Jurassic collide.
No.
Dino Frontier is a virtual reality simulation where players assume the role of Big Mayor.
Oh no.
They must carefully balance resources while growing their town and surviving bandit attacks. So it's a PlayStation VR game.
So it's a Wild West Tycoon with dinos, is what you're telling me.
Yes.
Wow. If you're curious, if you're actually following along with us on the drop, we like to skip around because, well, we want to, and we think of things in different orders.
Also, props to you for following around on the drop, man. I'm proud of you.
Let us know below if you're tired of us jumping around.
Yeah.
And going out of order. Dino Frontier, the first thing I saw there was I'm picturing the movie with Daniel Craig in it, Aliens vs. Cowboys. You ever see that movie?
No, I didn't.
It was way
awful.
better than you thought it would be, and it was still awful. It was. It's exactly what it sounds like. It was a Wild West town that just happened to have aliens come in, and this time traveler, I think, was in there. It's weird. But that's what I just thought of when it's like Wild West and Jurassic collide. No. Plus, my wife would probably scream about how some of the dinosaurs that we think about weren't in the Jurassic period. And she'd be like, this is ridiculous. You would only have a Apatoposaurus. They're really ugly.
Try that one again? Or?
Nope, that was the name of it. It's perfectly right.
Go back. Go back.
Goodness.
Looking for like a more comprehensive list of upcoming games, but now I appear to be stuck in Giant Bomb's website in an endless loop of returning to the previous page.
Yeah, there's not a lot. It's I mean, we're at that point in the summer where there's not a ton of releases. You know, it's August is kind of thin right at the beginning. There's some bigger stuff coming later this month. I think it'll be cool, but
Sonic Mania is coming soon.
That's true.
That's something for any of y'all.
That's one of those. I'm interested in that one.
Smart man. She's gonna bother the crap out of me and not remember what that is. So if you remember what game I was thinking about,
they gave almost no details on.
0 details other than people wanted to be crossplay with, because the way we were talking about it was, will it be crossplay with Xbox and PC, and then PC and it must have been PUBG. That's what I was thinking.
Must have been.
No, yeah, the idea of crossplay with PUBG or with PC and consoles sounds like a nightmare.
It does,
and you will just lose.
It really does. Player. I would agree with that.
But thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. A little shorter today. Man, I just love this TV.
Yeah,
it always changes and we're always like, hey.
We're hoping news picks up a bit. If you guys have stuff that you want us to talk about, things that you think would be fun to discuss, doesn't have to be necessarily current news, but it could be our thoughts on certain things, or you know, if you wanted our opinions and we can like get into a fight about it, we can pick different sides of an opinion.
Sure.
It's fine. We can make it.
We're really good at fighting.
We are. We're the best. We disagree so well.
We have the best.
Like
fights.
Jake, I think your beard is too short.
So. I think this podcast is over. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Bye.
Bye.